All right. Today is Saturday, June 22nd. It's almost noon, and it is hot, man. It has got to be at least 400 degrees in here. It's hotter than two fat rats in a wool sock, if you get my drift. Flying solo today. I believe Bobby's en route to go look at possibly a whole new roof for his car, or at least something we can get some sections out of. So what I'm going to do today is I'm gonna wet sand and buff. I'm at least wet sand. I may not buff the fenders and the doors on this car. So you guys just saw last week the 1 hour video of me wet sanding the hood. I got some good feedback already. It just aired. It aired a few 5 hours ago. In particular, I had a question that I just saw on my phone that somebody asked about buffing with the trim on. And yeah, that's totally possible. People do it all the time. Ideally, you would want to do it. You would want to wet sand and buff with no trim. That way you can get a really good job. But it's still possible to get a good job with the trim on. Just wouldn't be as good. I'm going to do it with the trim on right now. I'm probably going to take this spear off. It's already loose. It's real accessible. There's only 2 speed nuts right here, and boom, we're done. I'll probably take the hood hinge off simply because we don't want it to catch right there. I'm gonna leave the mirror on, the spotlight on. I'm gonna go around that, and really that's all the trim here. I'll show you in a second here. So this whole fender and door is the same process as the hood. Everything that I fired off, the information is the same exact for the entire car. So it's been flow coated, and really the finish looks good. It's just it has the nibs and the dirt nibs and specks and stuff like that because of the environment that we painted in. We painted it in this shop right here. So yeah, stuff's gonna land on it. You can't get away from that. However, like I say, the actual finish of the clear is nice. If it didn't have nibs, I'd leave it. But it does have some nibs, so we got to take care of that. So let me show you here what we're talking about. I don't know if the camera's going to pick them up, but you can see all the little specks. And they're not colored. You know, they're not any specific color. They're just little dirt specks or little pollen. It's not like a bug or anything. It's not like a black bug or anything like that. Same on the door. Door's not as bad. Got a couple. Actually, on the sides, it's fine. It does have a little bit more texture than I'd like, so I am gonna wet sand and buff the bulk of the door. On the fender, we're gonna hit it a little bit right here. We're gonna do a little bit right here, maybe not. There's a nib right there. We're not going to do anything in this area. We're not going to do anything right here. There's no need. There's no need. The clear flowed out, you know, really nice. There's no need to do anything up here. So mainly, I'm going to remove this. We're gonna do the top sides because this is wide. This is almost a foot wide, and there is a lot of nibs. There is a lot of nibs for the area, but hey, we're going to fix that. So, like I say, top, maybe a little bit here. This area right here, the bulk of the door. We're probably not going to do anything here. Maybe a little bit down here, and then the top of the door. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tape the stainless off. Tape the stainless off. We might utilize the mini polisher. I really don't want to take this off because I have to take door panel to get the spotlight off. So I really don't want to do that. Wet sanding, we can do it without making a big mess. Polishing, we can do it without making a huge mess, but I'm gonna, you know, cover the engine, and just keep the mess down. Just keep the mess down. Overall, I've been keeping this thing in the house garage, so it's been staying pretty clean. Fired right up, brought it in here, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna be using the same stuff I showed in the video. The same stuff. I ain't spent no money. The money's already been spent, so we don't have to buy anything additional. We got the Fest tool. which I showed last video. You can also use a razor blade. If you're going to use a razor blade, I would dull the corners or put some tape on the corners, but this is safer. The razor blade, you can get into some trouble if you're you know, an amateur like me. So I prefer the Festool. It's not razor sharp, but it's machined and it's flat and it's made out of tungsten. So this is really good to knock down nibs. However, you don't want to drop it. Tungsten is real strong, but it's also brittle. That's why it comes with this little rope. Wrap it around your wrist so you don't drop it, because if you drop it on the floor and it chips, it's toast. 1000 grit, mini Durablock, 15 2 and 3, motor guard. I believe it's like $15 on eBay. Spray bottle, sink water. Ain't spending no money. We're gonna get good results just like the hood. So enough yakking. Let me get some fans going so we can get some air movement. And I'm going to start by circling the nibs with the black Sharpie, and the same exact process. I already did previously. I already did the quarter panel, the skirts, and the trunk. They're done. They were done a while back. One reason why I waited to wet sand and buff and I put the doors on and the fenders on is because I wanted to move forward with the assembly of the car. I wanted to move forward with the assembly of the car because when these cars are blown apart, they just take up so much space. Frame on one side, shell on another, doors over here, fenders over here, trunk over here, hood over here, and everything is painted. And moving stuff around constantly and leaning it up on the wall and this and that, you're for sure, you can run the risk of chipping paint or damaging anything. When it's all bolted on, it ain't going nowhere. It's part of the car. So that's why I went ahead and put the front clip on and hung the doors just to get them on the car and out of the way of everything else that we got going on over here. So enough yakking. I'm gonna circle all these nibs, knock them down with the Festool. I'll bring you guys back once that's done. Right, so here we are. Got the fender spear off. And I denibbed all the spots and I hit them all with 1000 grit. And now I went over it with the Sharpie. Now we're going to hit all these individual spots with 1500 grit. And honestly, by the time we're done with that, most of this will be all 1500 grit. Just wanted to show a testament to what I said in my previous video, that when you hang panels, they get less trash. So obviously this was flat. On the vertical panel itself, we only have 2 nibs. And we have, you know, a couple dozen up top. Same with the door, not as bad, it's not as big of an area. More up top and just a handful on the side, nothing over here. So now, I say 1500 grit until the Sharpie is removed, and then, you know, a couple seconds after that to make sure that the 1000 grit is removed. So let me do this, and I'll bring you guys back. Right, here we are. I got everything in 3000 grit. So you can see, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. Everything is pretty smooth. Hit a little bit right here. Hit a little bit right here. And that probably ain't going to show, but didn't touch here, didn't really touch here. Everything else didn't get on the edge. Bulk of the area here, a little bit here into here, didn't mess with that. Didn't really make a huge mess. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the hood hinge on. I did tape, just run some tape on the stainless. Not that it's really gonna be an issue, but just kind of as a reminder. And what I'm gonna be doing now is buff it with the ACA 500 extra cut wool pad first. Just as you guys seen in the video I did of the hood. Hood's still sitting here. It's going to be a 3-man job to get this hood on, so probably won't get it on today. Anyways, I'm going to throw a towel over the engine, a couple towels, keep the spatter down, and I'll bring you guys back once this is rubbed out. Right, and here we are. It's done. I really didn't record the process because I already recorded the whole process when I did the hood. Plus, when I go to turn these fans off, man, it gets really hot really quick. But probably doesn't show much difference on the on camera. But this is where the mini came in clutch. You can also use a drill. I've said that. In this area right here. Came in clutch. Move the mirror. Hit this area right here. Worked out good. It's getting there. This side's done. I haven't hit it with my butter wax yet. I just hit it with the detail spray. So now what I'm going to do is put that fender ornament back on and hit this. As you can see, this one has the same amount of nibs, same exact thing. So I'm not gonna record this process, but I'll bring you guys back once everything is all done. Cameraman showed up.
It's too hot out here, man. It's like 1,000,000,000 degrees out here, man. Hotter than hell.
Comparable, man.
What are we doing, man?
What I'm doing now is 1500. I already de-nibbed. I already spot sanded it twice.
And if you watch the video that you just uploaded, it explains all the de-nibbing and the different grades of sandpaper.
Yep.
So
right now I'm 1500 the whole thing. And man, really on the sides, on the door, there's almost nothing on the door. But I'm gonna still knock it down with 1500 in the big area, just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. But there was some spots in the fender here. Not many though, man. This side is actually cleaner than the other side.
So the top side, that's what they call the money shot. What it is, that's what people focus on, the big spots. They're not gonna notice the bottom of the fender.
Nah, way down low.
No.
Not unless they're looking for it.
Yeah.
I mean, for the average paint job, nobody buffs below, you know, trim line, buff below half of the door for the average job. Now, if you pay a bunch of money and they do it on a rotisserie, then yeah, it's a lot easier. But to try and do this like this,
yeah,
hang that up, man. You can hang it up. Especially if you have real coarse. I mean, you can do it with a DA, I guess. You can do it with a DA.
Yeah.
But I don't like DA. I've tried DA systems, and I don't know what, but I get pigtails, little squigglies.
Maybe too much pressure on it or something? Or?
It could have been the cheap paper, could have been the DA. It could have been the clear was too fresh, maybe. Because if the clear is too fresh, it'll like ball up into little ball.
Okay.
And then
get like what, like tacky or something, or what?
It's kind of hard to explain, man. But I tried it on the gray 61. I tried DA wet sanding, 1500 to start, and I had to redo the whole thing, man, by hand, because it left pigtails everywhere. So I mean, like I say in the video, man, some people swear up and down by DA sanding.
Yeah.
I just don't do it because. Also, like, the problem with DA sanding is if something gets caught in between the paper, if a piece of trash gets caught in between the paper and the panel, you can't hear it because of the DA.
So now you're making it worse.
Yeah, you're making it worse.
Yeah, I guess slow and steady.
Yeah, you can't beat the hand, man. Like nothing beats the hand, dude. It's slower, it's longer, it's more work, but
it kind of forces you to slow down and just in case you're messing up somehow, you know.
Sure.
You notice it, you know.
Yep. Yeah, man. Like I showed in the video, man, I'm using my thumb as a guide right here.
And that's like you don't get so close to the
trim.
Now, let's say you didn't have none of that on, right? Would you still use a thumb? Like, let's say it's a fresh car.
I would use the thumb
trim?
on the edge.
On the edges, okay. Yeah. But then you don't burn through the.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, you can really tear some stuff up, man. If you're not focusing on what you're doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to the buffing part, wet sanding, it's really hard to screw up wet sanding. But I mean, you're not going to sit here and do this on the edge.
No.
You're not going to do this. It's not sanding primer because the edge is wet.
Yeah.
That's fine. Really, man, the whole car looks pretty good, man. Like,
yeah. And I don't even think you would need to touch it, really.
Right.
Maybe if you had a run.
Luckily, no runs.
Okay.
We cleared this thing twice. That's 3 coats and 3 coats and no runs.
Man, kind of lucky there, man.
Yeah, that and the thing is PSI, man. I upped the PSI to like 35 and good lighting and steady hand. You're steady with the hand, you're steady with your distance.
Okay.
And like I say, you just focus on what you're doing. You shouldn't get a run. Shouldn't.
Yeah.
I've gotten plenty, man. Don't trust me, man. Man, on that black 62, man, everything, every defect possible happened.
Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Bad orange peel, man. Dry spray, runs, trash. Run right here. Like, how do you get that out? You know, if you have a run right here, or it's coming down and it stops right here, you know, that's a really hard area to sand without burning through, man. Burn through. Bad orange peel. Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
On that car, man. And it was black.
Oh, you don't see it.
You're gonna see it. Bodywork was decent. Bodywork was decent. Man, it almost like don't even need it, man, you know? I'm gonna do a little bit.
What are you working with right now?
1500.
So you're still gonna step it up to like 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Now, do you have to go to 3?
No, you don't.
Let's say your panel is like this, really well, really good, and you did a 1500. Can you stop at 15? Do you got to go to 2?
The compound claims you can. The compound right here says 1200. Cuts P1000 or finer.
Okay.
That's crazy. This one, it doesn't say.
So the compound acts like an abrasive.
According to that, it says it can cut. It'll eliminate 1,000 grit scratches, which is pretty coarse, man.
Nah.
Now, yeah. So I don't know. I'll come around this way. I don't know how much compound that needs, or how long you got to sit there and do that. But to remove 1,000 grit, that's tough. So basically, imagine like the finer. If it's designed to remove 1,000, and you're trying to erase 3,000, it has to work way less, because it's a much finer scratch.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, and it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So the finer you go,
The easier it is on
the easier it is on the polishing.
Okay.
And really, the polishing for somebody who's just starting out, the polishing is the most dangerous part, or the buffing is the most dangerous part, because that's where you can burn an edge. If you're sitting here polishing and you snag this, and you're not paying attention, your buffer jumps up, puts a dent in the car. A lot can go wrong.
Yeah.
So if you were to take your grits finer, you don't have to spend so much time with the polisher.
Yeah.
So some papers like 8,000 grit. I mean, you can almost polish 8,000 grit by hand with no buffer.
8,000. What is that, man?
Basically, it's like a wet paper towel.
Oh, they toilet paper?
Yeah, it's like a wet paper towel.
It's not even worth buying, man. Can't you just get you some what is it? Brownie and
what I said on the video, man, about being liberal with the paper. So I use one sheet right here for top of that, and a little spot right there, so we can get a new one for the door.
Okay.
I already got it soaking.
And that'll help you.
It cuts better because that paper might be a little bit worn out. So, it might be somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 grit.
Yeah.
Because it's worn out. So new paper.
Okay.
But unfortunately, man, I don't think we could put the hood on two people, man. I don't want to.
No, you would need a third person for the bolts. Man, you got plenty of time, dude.
Nobody's home.
Should be all right. You got plenty of time.
Yeah. But
and nobody rushing you to get this car out. I mean, the people at home watching are rushing you to get this car out there. Like, we want to see it, but nah, it's on your time, man.
Yep, that's a good thing, man. So I've been looking to upgrade, or not upgrade, but try different paper, man. Get away from 3M.
Okay.
But I gotta use.
They kind of got a.
Gotta use the whole sleeve first,
They got a chokehold on the industry, man. 3M is pretty much.
In this country, yeah.
You think other countries use something else that's better, or?
There's other brands, man. Like I've been looking at Eagle Abrasive, Toll Cut is a company. Toll Cut has these little denibber paper.
Hey, so I was gonna so watching the video this morning, right? You have a little metal denibber, and right? So can you use like a razor blade?
Sure.
Like, let's say you don't want to spend the money on that little metal thing, but you have plenty of razor blades. Chopping up some stuff, trap house.
What I would do is round the edges of the blade.
Okay.
So it's like it's a soft edge. Razor, soft edge.
Okay.
That way you're not, or put tape on the corners.
Oh yeah, because if you hit at the wrong angle, that
gouge.
Yeah, it's gonna scratch. Yep.
Yeah. So it's a shame that I'm even wet sanding this door, but it did have a little bit. Maybe a little bit of pollen or something might have landed, in the process of clearing.
From what I'm gathering, all the information, right? It's almost like if you have a great paint job, like your first paint job, whatever came out great, the clear was great.
Yeah.
You really almost don't need this.
No, you don't.
Like, you think you could have gotten away without even doing this?
On the tops, you'd have to do the tops.
For sure, but not the sides. You could have gotten away without doing the sides.
Sure. There's some areas back there in the back of the concave, the wing.
Yeah.
I didn't wet sand and buff. Where it goes around in the concave, I didn't wet sand and buff that.
Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna see it, I don't think.
Well,
the
wherever you put sandpaper, you got to buff.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know how you're gonna buff that wing underneath that wing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why I flow coated it, was because fuck, man.
Man, you got a cramp?
No, I hit my knee.
Oh.
That's kind of the reason why I flow coated it, was because if you think about it, whenever we painted this, okay, we sanded 600 grit. right? We sanded 600 grit, and then we sealed it. Okay. When you spray the sealer, in the process of it spraying, it's going to land texture.
Yeah.
It's not going to land glass. Okay. So that's texture number one. Then we did 3 coats of color.
Okay.
Okay. When the color lands, it looks good, but it's got texture too, because it's inherent of the way the spray gun works.
Okay.
So you got texture on your sealer. You got 3 layers of base that have texture, and now we're going to put 3 coats of clear.
Okay.
Each of those coats of clear have texture.
Yeah.
So texture on top of texture on top of texture on top of texture. And if at any point any of those steps aren't sprayed, you know, as slick as possible, it magnifies the texture.
Okay.
So you know, we did that, and then we sanded the whole car with 600 grit flat.
Okay.
Okay, flat with a block. So now we're going to spray clear over flat, not over texture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. The clear flattened it out.
So we sanded the clear. Now when we spray the clear,
Now
it's slick.
It's a flat surface. Yeah.
So now you got clear. I think we cleared it 3 more times,
Okay.
maybe twice, but I want to say 3. So now we're dealing with 3 layers of clear that have a little bit of texture versus sealer, 3 coats of base, 3 coats of clear, 7 layers.
Now, did you have to wet sand in between coats?
You can wet sand in between base coat.
No, like the last coat of clear.
No, you don't. You don't want to sand while the clear is wet.
No, like let's say you throw on one coat of clear, you wait, I don't know, a week, wet sand it, come back, throw another coat of clear.
I mean, yeah, you can do that.
Now I don't know how.
The problem is that the one coat, it might be a little thin to sand.
Okay.
So you might sand through
Back to the
and
base.
then back to the original clear. And it hadn't happened to me, but it's arguable that now it may leave a halo, because you have the clear that was dried,
Yeah.
and then the new clear,
Yeah.
and it's going to get through that, and it may leave, you may see something.
Yeah.
So what I was saying earlier about bucket sanding, that's why you don't bucket sand.
Man.
Now this is mainly, you know, clear, the milky clear stuff,
Yeah.
but you can't tell me that there's not grits floating in there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I don't know about you, but we'll bring y'all back, man. I'm about to grab me a beer and watch this fool keep on
watch
sanding.
this work.
Yeah, he's gonna keep on working.
Yeah, we're gonna get done today.
All right, guys, we'll bring y'all back.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're back.
Now we're using that ACA 520. Polish. 1800 RPM. And this stuff, as you can see, leaves a haze.
Yeah, it does.
That's gonna wipe off.
Okay. What's this stuff called?
3D ACA 520, finishing polish.
Step 2. Okay.
Step 2 of 2.
2 of 2. What'd you say the third step was? Some
Butter wax.
Butter wax. Oh man, here we go.
So, yeah, you see that happen?
Could have caused a mishap, man.
Could have. Will you get the black pad?
Okay.
Should be over there. The black mini pad. Yeah, man. Could have caused a mishap.
They started all over again.
You can't start.
Just the little one.
This is where the Mini comes in. Comes in clutch.
For hard to reach areas or what?
Right here. So you can get right up on that trim molding. You get right up on that edge. Get right up on this one too. It's going dead. Only thing I don't like is this battery. It's 1.5 amp.
About an hour.
Weenie.
Okay.
I do have a bigger one, but we're almost done.
Okay.
So this sucks. Buffing low like this really sucks.
So one question on that, how much pressure are you putting on that pad? Are you just letting the pad ride over it?
Just a little bit, but yeah, pretty much. I'm not pushing in on it. I mean, you can go touch it right now. It shouldn't be hot at all.
Okay. So you just kind of want to let it glide over it with a little bit?
A little bit of pressure.
Just a little bit, not a lot.
On the flat surfaces, it's just the weight of the machine, of the tool.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that's a pretty big machine, so it's a little bit heavy. So
like this, about like that.
okay. Enough to make the little pad flex a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Home stretch, man. Got
see
this
it.
little fender left.
And the reason I'm asking these questions is because, you know, I want the people at home to feel like they're getting the full experience, man.
Full
you know,
experience.
like
Well,
I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there saying like, man, how did he do that? Did he press up on it hard or just
All right,
soft?
well, in order to achieve the full experience, what the people at home need to do right now
Oh, hold on.
is go turn off your air conditioner,
Well,
turn on the oven,
just sit in front of the oven.
sit in front of the oven,
Sit in front of the oven
and buff.
and get a beer.
I haven't drank anything.
Well,
I'm about to though. See how I swallowed that little drop? If you just hit it, it's gonna splatter.
okay.
So, well, I don't have any drop. I'll show you right now.
So
That's how
basically,
you kind of keep the mess down.
do you want to go slower and just kind of like let it rub in there, or?
No, you go over it. Boom.
Okay.
Because if there's a drop there and you just bump into it, it's gonna splatter.
Okay.
And that's why you get compound
Everywhere.
everywhere. I mean, if you look, you got a little bit up here, but there's none in here. And you got a little bit right here, but it's not like we made a huge mess, you know?
Yeah.
Whew, man.
What do you think? Came out good?
Just gotta wipe all this off, or you can put the butter wax on there, and then wipe it down, and we'll bring you back, show you the finished product.
All right, guys, we out.
Yeah, man, so that's done. We didn't really make a big mess. Really, it's in the amount of compound that you put on the panel. You don't need to put a whole bunch, just a few drops here and there, and run it, and then if it needs more, put a little more, you know.
Let the compound do the work.
Let the compound do the work. You don't got to put too much. Like I say, sometimes it takes 2 applications.
Yeah.
I like doing the wool pad first, and then the same compound with the foam pad. But so the paint job on this car is essentially done. The only thing left that I need to paint is battery rack, batteries, but everything else, there's nothing else to paint on the car.
Yeah.
The hood can go on. I have the hood insulation. I have the retainer for the hood insulation. That's powder coated black. It's just a matter of flipping it over, putting it on, and then installing the hood probably next weekend. Kind of a 3-person job at this point.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it.
Came out good.
So as of well, let me see. Wow, I've been out here. Shit, man, I came out here at 8 o'clock. I didn't start on this till 11. So what's it, 6 or 7 hours today? As of today,
What you got? You got a
time log
of all the hours spent on the car?
7. As of today, 1552. 1,500 hours, 1,552 hours, man hours on this car so far. Out of that, about 1,000 is by myself, and then the other 550 is other people coming over to help. So 1,600 hours, man.
What's the math on that? Say you took it to a big boy shop, right?
And they charge
Yeah.
$75 an hour.
Oh, I mean, is that the rate? Is that the
I have
going rate?
no idea. That's what. Shit, man. I hope not. Let me see.
Let's-
75 times 1,550.
You think that-
$116,000 in labor. We're not about that. We're about doing it yourself
Hey, man.
and saving
If I walked into a shop and they told me it's gonna be about 100 G's on labor, I don't even think I'll say anything. I just walk right back out.
It's a hard pill to swallow, man. Why do you think I do it myself?
So you think all these people that are trying to sell their cars that are really like worth 50,000, they're trying to sell them for 100,000, they're just trying to recoup some of that labor?
Probably.
I believe it.
Probably. You know, if a car is lifted with hydraulics, you know, just because you took it somewhere and they charged $12,000 for the setup and install, that don't mean that that's worth $12,000. That means that means that that's what you think it's worth.
Yeah.
But when you try and sell it, other person might say, "I don't even want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even like that brand, or I don't even want that." So
Yeah.
that's useless.
Yeah. A lot of people like to redo the cars. You know, if they buy a car that's already done, they kind of want to change things up a little bit. They might, you know, redo the setup, maybe different engine. So that all that kind of like doesn't really play into the price sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but I think we got another, to do the rack, man? 2 weekends, maybe?
I think more than that, man.
Depending on how complicated we get with it.
Yeah, complicated order, man.
Okay, let's just say at most another,
That's a month.
at most another
It's a month.
50 hours at the most. That's 5 10-hour days. It ain't gonna take that.
Maybe not.
Do the rack in 2 weekends and then wire it up in 1 weekend and we're done.
I mean, you already got most of the hard lines, everything done.
The pumps are ready.
Yeah.
Gotta make the rack, drop them in.
It ain't
So I
no-
think we can pull this off for 1,600 hours.
Yeah.
Now that's,
1,600
I
hours.
mean, considering the car's not done, so I'm gonna do a video with all that. But the car has never left the house.
No, not to any
The car
shop.
has never left this house.
I really thought it was gonna leave when you were gonna do the exhaust.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah.
So you factor in flatbed fees to tow it here, tow it there, tow it to the upholstery, tow it to exhaust, tow it here. It adds up, man.
Yeah.
The only thing we've outsourced is chrome and powder coat and wiring, engine harness. But I was going to do a final video, you know, once the thing is done and lifted and driving down the street. It does drive.
Well, yeah.
Not down the street.
We already got that done. It's just
1,600 hours, man. There's 2,000 hours in a work year. 2,080 in a work year. So you're talking about you're talking about 9 months. 9 months of hitting this thing 8 hours a day.
But that's like what, spread out into 2 years, 3 years? 3 years. Yeah, because did you have the 64? I bought the 68?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember it's coming up on 3 for me. You know. Wow.
I'm just glad that the buffing is done. I mean, I've buffed a few cars, but anything can go wrong. You know what I mean? You can be on the table and then you're coming over here and you trip, or you know, and then you put a dent in the car. You know, there's so much thing can go wrong.
Yeah.
It's always in the back of my mind. So I'm glad that I was able to buff the fenders and the doors on the car without major incident, without any incident.
Yeah.
Without having to take the trim off or anything like that. That little mini buffer, man, or a drill, it's the same concept, is the business, man. You can get right up on that molding. I would tape the molding.
Yeah.
Especially if it's chrome plated, but you can get right up on that tape. So yeah, man, next up is gonna be install the hood. I need to change the springs in the back and put the stock ones back in because it rides kind of stiff. And if I want to do a test drive and try and tune it while we're driving, it's too stiff.
Okay.
It's basically riding like a lifted car. And so I'm going to put the back springs, the factory back springs in, so it's a little softer.
But are the other springs going back on it afterwards?
Yeah, but I got accumulators for that.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, you got to do that and then kind of ready for a road test, man. Make sure the knockoff. I'd like to bleed the brakes one more time. Make sure the wheels are on, all that. See what happens.
I think you're stressing over the brakes, man.
It's always in the back of my mind, man. Ever since that 63, when I popped that brake line and we didn't have brakes on 288,
Yeah.
that was pretty scary, man. And that was my fault. That was all bad. Powder coated the frame with the brake line on it because it looked good. It looked fine. It looked fine.
Sometimes,
so then we powder coat. I'm like, well, damn, save money. I ain't got to buy no brake lines.
Yeah.
Powder coated with it on. So they blasted it and coated it, and it looked great. Looked all brand new, but the pinhole developed from the inside out.
Yeah.
And it was a single reservoir master cylinder, little weenie factory master cylinder.
So it's all tied into everything.
One reservoir.
Yeah.
And we were driving down 288 in that 63 and went to push the brake, and when you got no brake, push it again. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a problem. It was me and her. So I turned the car off and just kind of rode the shoulder, man, and limped home. Idled all the way home.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I'm like, you know, that's like PTSD, man.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have brakes in this car, in any old car, there ain't no airbags.
Yeah. They're heavy, so they're not easy to stop. Yeah.
The steering wheel's gonna take your head off, man. Especially in a convertible, man. It's game over.
Yeah.
So it's a way to drive these cars. You know what I mean? You gotta be aware of what's around you at all times, man. How much space I got? What's this dude coming up here behind me? What's he trying? You know?
Yeah.
You gotta be aware, man.
Pulling up beside you, taking a picture of you, and not paying attention.
Or I hate that, man. When it's on a trailer and you're going through some tight space. You know, with the trailer, and they want to ride right next to you and take a picture, and the trailer's over here whipping around. It's like, man, I appreciate it, but you know, give some space, man.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if it's lifted, you're bouncing around. You know, it's just to drive a lifted car is a technique to it.
Yeah, it's a mission on its own, man.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, man, that's the wrap. Next weekend, hood on.
Yeah.
And Bobby should have some progress with his car, man. So we'll bring y'all back. Yeah, man. I'm thirsty.
Yep, ready to drink.